just a hack. He's just an absolute hack. And he gets his ass kicked by his teammates every week. It's just, it's terrible. It's just terrible.
Welcome back here on Hack City. Joe DeLeone, Sean Anderson. Today we have our FCS Week 2 preview, talking about two massive games. The FBS slate's kind of soft. The FCS slate is freaking fantastic because you know what? We've got Weber State, UNI. We've got South Dakota State, Montana State. Sean, how are we doing? You juiced up?
Yeah, I am. I didn't know you were going to cut a wrestling promo in the FBS to start off the show. Freaking Joe Hyman, or Heyman, Joe Heyman is what I was going for there. Never mind. I'm sure there's a bunch of WWE fans that like college football, so they'll understand who I'm.
Do you need a cup of water? Do you need like a? Do you
mind if I go refill this water? Do you mind if I refill this?
No, you can't. We're going to keep rolling through. That is unbelievable. I still can't believe you did that. I still can't believe you pulled that out and thought that I wasn't going to respond.
Why would you need to respond? You can notice it and not respond.
You have, by the way, for our listeners that don't watch the FBS show but watch the FCS one, can you show them what I'm referring to?
I got a water glass.
That is not a water glass. That is a massive beer mug. Why do you own that? And why is it in your room?
I took it, first of all.
Oh, of course. That's what I was trying to get you to say. I know you didn't buy
No. This has been an instrument for holding vote tallies. You put the paper in. It's been actually used a couple times, but when it's not being implemented as that, it works well for drinking water or beer. At this point, water, and we can't get through a show without Joe just losing his mind at whatever I'm doing on my end. Hey, let's live together again. That'll be good. We'll do better shows. Oh, what? God forbid I took a shoe off during the show, and then Joe's losing it.
Who takes a shoe off in the middle of a recording?
I got an itch on the bottom of my foot. You don't know how many.
I'm going to acknowledge you taking.
You don't know how many mosquito bites I
scratched. It's a visual comedy show. Of course, I'm going to fucking say something.
My legs get carved up on the weekends. All show, I'm just scratching my legs. You don't know what I got going on over here.
Can I before we get into these games? Cut me off if I'm being out of bounds here for saying this. So you're single and you're dating, and if you happen to have someone who stays over, you're obviously going to be in those situations where they're like, "Oh, can I please get a cup of water? Can you please use that comically large beer mug next time someone sleeps over to give them that?" And I need you to report back to me what their reaction is, because I think that would be so goddamn funny.
Here's the thing.
Because for us, it's funny, but for a girl, they're going to be like, they're going to go back to their friends and be like, he gave me this really obnoxiously large glass.
Here's what I've done in the past. I was gifted a cognac set, which had a crystal decanter and about, I think, 8 cognac glasses. That's what I tip.
Please tell me you're filling up the decanter with the water.
No. I'm not putting decanter in the water. Or water in the decanter. Cognac goes in the decanter because I enjoy it. But these little crystal glasses is what I give the girls to drink out of because it's nice. It's a nice crystal glass. Okay. It's nice. I don't give them my big tanker.
Can you please, for the sake of this program, next time someone stays over, please, I'm just asking you. I need to know what their reaction is. We have such an opportunity for experimentation.
Here's the thing. I already got enough weird stuff in my room that it doesn't seem like you would, like, my room is not designed how you would think. Like it's not a very metro room. It's got weird. None of the furniture matches because it was here when I came in. I got a big big Persian rug, a bed that was here when I came in, and then some other stuff that I filled in.
That's why this is perfect.
So I'm basically living in a pawn shop. I don't think I need to be given. I don't need to be given.
Please, I'm asking you.
1980s Pittsburgh Steeler commemorative cup to drink their water out of. It's tough optics. I try to hide a lot of the weirdness. I'm thinking I might have to move the samurai swords. Those might be done with. I have such a nice stand, a nice beautiful wooden stand for them that I almost have to keep them.
See, I'm trying to think of what's something strange I could give my girlfriend a drink out of, but the problem is she's going to listen to the show and she's going to be like, "Oh, I heard you say that." So then it's not going to, it's not going to be.
You know what would be funny? Why don't you empty out one of those bottles of bourbon that you don't drink and just put water in it? Just clean it out. And be like,
all right, shut up. We're going to talk about. Let's talk about these games. quick note before we get into the games. I had an upset. Oh God, we can't talk today. An upset alert watch list game that I wanted to highlight. Boston College playing highly ranked Holy Cross. Boston College sucks. I'm literally putting this out there. They are the worst P5 team in the country. The worst. Worse than UVA. They lost to Northern Iowa last week. Stanford's good, dude. Stanford. Okay, wait. Sorry. Stanford's better than people think they are. That's what I meant to say. Benjamin Yursek's an athlete. I'm not as worried about
Would Vanderbilt beat them?
Boston College. Yes.
Northwestern.
Boston College.
Okay, my last one. Northwestern.
All right. Yeah, they're close to one another. But I'm saying though that Boston College is on upset alert playing Matt Sluka and Holy Cross.
I think it's fair to put them on upset alert, but we got a little more insight, and there's been good FCS discourse this week because Colorado's Shedeur Sanders, who is currently FBS, formerly in the FCS, noted that a lot of the positions not that different, which is what we've always known. We know a lot's not different, but the trenches is where it's different because you can't. It's hard to find that many monstrous athletes to keep up with the D-line and vice versa with the O-line. So it becomes a signing spree for the FBS teams and the FCS teams. It's, we got this guy out of a small town. He's good. Maybe he'll grow. Late bloomers, bad grade guys. That's just how it goes. So Boston College in the trenches, not terrible. They're not terrible. They're still a Power 5 offense and defensive line, which is the only concern I have for Holy Cross. Because Sluka and company could go up there, could go out there and carve them up. They definitely could, but is he going to have time? And will they be able to establish a run game? Because whether you like it or not, if we're going to take every Power 5, Group of 5 FCS offensive lineman, average their scores, measure them out, it's going to go in order of Power 5, Group of 5, FCS in size, weight, and maybe arm length. That's just how it works. It's just bigger.
Make sure you check out Bet Online for all of your sports betting needs. For anything that I do betting related, I go on over to betonline.ag and I use promo code BELIEVE50. BetOnline has all of the latest updated odds for the NFL and college football seasons. Anything you need, whether it's futures, live in-game betting, no matter what, your football betting needs are met at BetOnline. And again, make sure you use that promo code BELIEVE50, BLEAV50 to get a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. Yeah, we'll see. I'm going to be watching this one closely. This one really could be exciting for the FCS if they end up pulling out this upset. So, as I said, we've got two amazing matchups. Let's start off talking about Weber State versus UNI. I like that this game is on the schedule early for both of these teams because there's a lot of preseason hype for them, but this is also there's question marks for both these teams. It's like how legit are they actually? Is UNI just a little bit better than last year and they're going to finish with 7 wins, or are they really going to take a huge stride here? Weber is a team that I don't know why I just haven't been able to truly figure them out, and they had a walkover first game on Thursday, I think against Central Washington. What I do know though, Sean, Damon Bankston is a dude at running back. He is a really talented player at the FCS level. I feel like, every single year when Weber State's good, they've got a workhorse back that they can just continually rely on and feed the football. That is going to be their approach in this game, is get Bankston the football, keep rolling it the way that they do their thing. But at the same time, they're going up against UNI that always has sneaky good athletes on both sides of the football. If I'm looking at things for Northern Iowa, I'm paying really close attention to Theo Day. Does Theo Day take over? Because against Iowa State, he had some trouble. I had high hopes for him. I was really thinking that maybe he was going to step up, shine, and start to get even more of a spotlight put on him. But he struggled against Iowa State, who's frankly not that good of a P5 team. So does Theo Day step up to the occasion? I need to see him take over this game because he has all the capability to do
it. He should. I think that Weber State should just try to be as patient as possible. They should just know that they're as good as Northern Iowa. Right now, coin flip if we're talking about skill versus skill, 53-man, or just in terms of NFL, 53-man versus 53-man. We're looking at two pretty even teams. So be patient, use your game plan, try to do what Northern Iowa used to do before Theo Day, where they would just run the hell out of it, use fullbacks, use mean tight ends, and just get gritty and grimy. And Northern Iowa, now they just need to be able to move the ball fast on offense. I think they should go tempo. I think they should try to catch Weber State sleeping, take a couple shots over the top, or just speed it up. Because if Weber's going to try to slow you down with the patience, you're probably not going to win that game if you're playing at their pace the whole time. And that's for every football game. But for Weber State, you can't be slow and patient and on their time. You need to speed it up, get them out of their own pace, and then try to push the football about as fast as you can with comfortability that you're going to be able to make some plays.
The main thing, though, and I kind of already led into this, is that, obviously we're going to get to figure out what both these teams are, but I really do think that the winner of this football game, Sean, is going to be able to establish and build some serious momentum. It helps that it's at Northern Iowa. I don't know if that's a real massive home field advantage. I would actually argue that Weber State's probably more of a tricky place to play because it's in Utah.
Yeah.
But this game, I think, is going to be just really important for not only figuring out our rankings for the future, but who is going to go on that run. And having an early big matchup like this is so necessary in my eyes for quality top 15 teams to, again, build that momentum, to go on a run, to maybe potentially win their conference. And UNI has so many big matchups on the rest of their schedule that you get this early test in, you come out swinging, you come out fighting, you slow down their run game, you keep Bankston in check, and then you can feel confident when you have to play teams like South Dakota State and you have to go up against another unit that's got a pretty good run game.
Yeah, it could be a huge momentum builder for whoever wins that game. I do not mind that point that you just made.
All right, Sean, talking about Montana State at South Dakota State. Man, this is a game and a rematch that we've been waiting for since the playoffs. The two-headed monster, Sean Chambers, Tommy Mellott, we know how good they are when they are rolling and they are in sync. But at the same time, I said it all offseason, South Dakota State brought back so much of that roster from last year that won them a national championship. Gronowski, Isaiah Davis, the Yankee twins, everybody on that roster, so many players, most of their offensive line came back. And I'm not, I don't think that Montana State got completely picked apart from roster turnover either. But, dude, I was looking at this game and I was thinking it over. It's at South Dakota State, which is a huge advantage. This is one of the few FCS programs that has a massive home field advantage when teams come to play them. But most importantly, I really do worry about what caused South Dakota State to have an advantage the last time they played, which is Mellott and Chambers. One of them had to be the guy to convert on big plays. And who can convert on third and long? As fun as it is to sit here and talk about and be like, they've got two really good athletes that can run the football. They can take direct snaps, carry the football, and make plays as a runner. But they still don't really have a refined passer that they can turn to. If that same game plan is implemented and they load the box, it might be a really tough outing for Montana State. Not saying it's going to be as lopsided as that playoff game, but this could be really, really tricky for Montana State if they don't come with a new fold, a new strategy separate from the one that they had at the playoffs.
I'll tell you what would have helped Montana State if they still had Isaiah Afonso. He had a pretty good run this weekend, and you know what? It would be fun if he was on Montana State, but got to credit him. He had a very good play at Cal. Montana State, I'm not super worried about. I think that they will. The good thing about South Dakota State returning so many players is that you kind of get to look at the film from last year and say, he's still here, he's still here, he's still here. How do we need to beat him this time? How do we need to adjust this time? It's not new player. We've watched a little bit of him. Just try to figure him out. We'll readjust in the second quarter. We know what he does. We know what routes he likes. We know if he, for the offensive line standpoint, where they want to shift and where they want to slide and who's best in man and how can we manipulate that. So they have a lot of keys, and similarly to South Dakota State. So this is not just strictly Montana State having the advantage, but when you get beat down like that, you're going to have to take a little bit of a deeper dive to see, hey, why the hell did that happen? We're a good team. Why did that happen? And now I think they're going to be incredibly detailed. And I'm hoping they don't get too detailed and stop playing football when they just get too bogged down by assignments, analytics, and game plan. Just go out there, play football, make the plays. Because Montana State just has a bunch of good football players on it. They just do. I think South Dakota State's probably a better team, probably a better coached team. But Montana State consistently, if you're just looking at their games, like, man, that guy can play some football. Troy Anderson can play some football. The quarterbacks can play football. They're football players. Malott and Chambers, they go out there and they run the rocker, they throw it, they do whatever. And I'm excited for it. This game will be very fun. I'm not going to use a certain word that got me made fun of last time I talked about having a very good game to start the season. But this one will be very fun.
What was the word?
I'm not going to call this game a treat, even though it will be.
Oh, that's what it was. I forgot that I gave you. I won't give you a hard time for that.
Thanks.
Last piece of this before we get to FC estimates. I said this every time that these teams have played. I've said the same thing, and I'm just going to keep repeating it. I don't care if I'm being redundant, cliche, blah, blah, blah. This game is won along the line of scrimmage. Last time that they played, South Dakota State's defensive line and offensive line took it to Montana State. I still lean South Dakota State for that same reason. They have a lot of guys that came back from last year that could have moved on and graduated, whatnot. They took advantage of the extra eligibility that they have. I don't know if Montana State is their roster and their front seven and their offensive line will dominate the rest of their schedule. But I do not know. Actually, I do know. I don't think that they physically match up well with South Dakota State when it comes to those key positions. I'm leaning South Dakota State because, dude, they've got a G5 quality offensive line. They've got some really strong,
they're very
massive dudes that are going to carve out lanes for Isaiah Davis, as we've seen.
Tackle to tackle, they're very impressive. They're very good. They're very solid. Nothing you can take away from it. Well, if you're already saying who you're leaning, should we just get into FC estimates? I think, what do I have the lead? Is it tied? What is it?
FC estimates?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I'm leading.
No, you're not leading.
Are you sure?
Yes.
That doesn't seem right.
I was perfect last week. You had 2 incorrects.
Doesn't seem like me.
Are we jumping into FC estimates, or do you have any final points on this?
No, I'm ready for FC estimates. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. It'll be true Smash Mouth football.
The scoring is correct. You can go back and check it. I was 10-0 last week, and you can go shove it. Don't give me the skepticism. Go screw. Let's pick these games. UNI versus Weber State.
I am taking UNI in this matchup.
Give me UNI as well. Montana State, South Dakota State.
I'm taking Montana State.
Trying to get a leg up. You're trying to catch up, and it's going to kill you. It's going to hurt you. Give me the home team.
Sure.
Give me the home team, South Dakota State. St. Thomas, South Dakota.
South Dakota.
South Dakota. West Carolina, Samford. Samford. Citadel, Campbell.
Citadel could be a little tricky, but I'm taking Campbell.
I am going to take Campbell as well. North Dakota State, Maine.
Oof. North Dakota State.
Yeah, North Dakota State. Come on now. Illinois State, without the S. Illinois State, Western Illinois.
They should be flagged. But since it's in caps, they won't flag it for misspelling. Illinois State. I'll take the red.
Illinois State as well. NAU, North Dakota. I'm going to take North Dakota as well. Chattanooga, Kennesaw.
I am taking Chattanooga. Kennesaw did some weird things last week.
Bad pick. Give me Kennesaw.
Okay.
Give me the Owls. LIU Sharks versus Bryant.
Waiting for LIU to make the jump. I'm taking Bryant.
Jump to what?
I don't know.
I'm gonna take Bryant
Next
as well.
other game to throw in there. You hack.
I wanted to go with the NEC game. We don't do any NEC games ever. At Joe DeLeone. Well, because see, that's the key here. If we pick all of the big name teams when they don't play anybody, we wouldn't have any separation. We got to pick the low tier teams when they play each other because that's where the real chaos kicks in.
Okay.
That's where the real prowess kicks in.
Oh, additionally, do you want me to make that new intro with Mike McDaniel? What do you want me to use that for?
We'll talk about this after.
Right.
I think that you should because we do need to make a new intro. We need a new song. At Joe DeLeone at Sanderson Radio. We'll be back. Enjoy the rest of your week. Football.